Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host right over there.
What's up? It's Dee. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Today we are talking Michael Porter Jr.
If I come out of this game after 3 minutes and y'all all hit on my under, we're all getting a little bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I obviously my brother went through his situation. Malik Beasley's going through a situation right now. Terry Rozier was in some hot water. But the whole sports gambling entity, bro, it's bad, and it's only gonna get worse, bro. Like,
He's been going on a media frenzy, talking about his brother's gambling addiction, talking about his own addiction with
His vices.
his vices with women, and saying he's really struggled with that, which, that is an issue for people. But he basically went out and talked a lot about his brother on multiple podcasts. I think it's really dangerous to say things like this while you're an active player in the NBA.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Michael Porter Jr., his brother is Jontay Porter. Jontay pled guilty to a gambling scandal where he ended up, I think the charges were wire fraud, and he could do up to 20 years behind bars. I don't know if
He could do 20 years.
Yeah, he could do 20 years. But it was him and four other guys that he got caught in this gambling ring with, where Jontay Porter was a lower-level NBA player. He was faking injuries and then telling his friends to go out there and bet his unders, which is obviously a huge no-no. He said that he was trying to get everyone else out of gambling debt and change their lives. But obviously, these are very serious allegations. Well, not allegations anymore. They're charges. And he is now banned from the NBA for life.
I actually watched, you guys should go check it out, the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode about this whole gambling scandal. Someone on Twitter had the information that Jontay Porter was going to fix this months before anyone ever broke it. And Pablo Torre goes down and finds kind of the source of this group who was involved in these fixed stats. And it's crazy how it leads to a bodega owner guy. There's some random Twitter guy that had a popular channel and he was trying to do crypto. So the story of Jontay Porter is so many different avenues are really interesting. It's not just the gambling aspect, but Pablo Torre lays it out perfectly. You should go watch that. Really great. What's kind of crazy is how Michael Porter talks about it, and he's saying the gambling thing is only going to get worse with the NBA. The players, it's just how do you control when there's so much money involved in gambling and you're tethering it so much with sports leagues? And there's so many different ways you can gamble these days. There already been multiple investigations this offseason. So do you see this becoming an issue even further with the players? Or do you think a majority of them think it's not worth it?
I mean, it's pretty crazy considering that all the sports leagues are literally intertwined with gambling corporations and have advertisements with gambling. And when you are, and people were even pissed when, I don't know if you remember this, I think it was not this NBA draft, but the NBA draft before this one, where Shams had tweeted out that someone was going to be picked with that the team was leaning towards this certain pick. And then everyone was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to now put money on that. And then it turns out it wasn't that pick. And people were like, well, what the hell? And then they're like, you can't do this. You can't have an ESPN correspondent go out and send this tweet while also being in cahoots with ESPN Bet, which is a big sports book.
Yeah, and that was when Shams tweeted that Charlotte at number 2 were strongly considering Scoot Henderson.
Oh, yes.
And then when the consensus overall thought was it's going to be Brandon Miller, and he just completely moved the betting line for no reason, essentially. And then Brandon Miller was the pick.
Just having them so intertwined in the life, I think that it does make it easier, because then you are listening to people like, oh, well, I didn't hit my parlay because of you. Oh, well, blah, 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 this and that. I think that because the players are going to be so exposed to it, it does make it hard to have that disconnect, or it does make it really easy to be tempted to be like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to have someone bet the under on me.
So yeah, it's weird to me how accepting it is that these leagues have so much connected themselves to gambling. And I know there's a lot of money in it. A lot of people do dump a lot of their money into it when they're not rich. Or even say people with money, they're making like $10,000, $60,000 bets. I mean, I'm pretty sure Drake has lost millions at this point. Especially we have NFL, the deal with the NFL network, they own a percentage of ESPN that owns ESPN Bet. And so now they have not just they're in the kitchen, they have their hand in the cookie jar of gambling. So how can you as a consumer trust that this isn't happening when stories now leak like Jontay Porter, stories leak like they're investigating Terry Rozier? As long as we don't have literally physical evidence that it's not happening, people will continue to speculate.
Yeah, I think this has been a narrative for years that the NBA is rigged, that the NFL is rigged.
The
And
Chiefs just
yes,
they just didn't suspend Rasheed Rice, and people were saying, "Oh, it's rigged because the first 4 games are the difficult part of their schedule, and he's gonna sit out the easy part of his schedule." And the Chiefs are the number one example right now.
yeah, and so I think that just being involved with gambling, being in bed with gambling, I think it opens that up more to criticism and being like, okay, I think it adds fuel to the fire where you don't need that, where you don't need people saying, hey, this is rigged, this is wrong. Every time something happens, it's like, okay, NFL rigged, NBA rigged. The more that you're getting into gambling, the more people are it's going to feed into that narrative.
Yeah, we'll just wrap this up by saying Michael Porter Jr. also got into some weird topics of conversation. A lot of accusations about sexuality of NBA players, and
Everybody thinks about it.
and saying that he needs a woman who could cook and be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know why is Michael Porter Jr. doing a whole press tour right now?
Because he's washed and he got traded.
The person who probably shouldn't be talking about controversy involving sports gambling is the brother of the person who got caught sports gambling. So, but we'll see if he gets investigated.
Yep.